Hello and welcome to Thaiger Bites. I'm Jay, this is Tim, and you're joining us at the place where we get to address your comments, your feedback, your views from all of our shows on YouTube, on all of our posts on Facebook, Instagram, and also the Thaiger Talk forum on thethaiger.com.
Yeah, you get to comment about us, now we get to comment about you.
That's right. Before we start, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Coffee Culture, for providing us these beautiful mugs, as well as fresh ground and roast coffee from across Thailand. Find your roast of organic Arabica, Robusta coffee, and many different flavors, green coffee beans, on coffeeculture.asia. So check them out, type in the code THETIGER, or click the link in the description below to get a 10% discount.
If your kitchen looks a little bit old and tatty, I imagine that a collection of these mugs would make it look a lot better, and when your neighbours come around, they'll go, wow, where did you get those coffee mugs from?
That's right. And they'll smell your coffee and be like, coffee culture?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a statement.
My first three comments are about vaping.
Okay.
So there was a story in Thailand News today about vaping. So can I address these?
The e-cigarettes are, they're thinking of basically legalizing e-cigarettes.
Okay, so a lot of people had a lot to say about this. I'll try and keep it fairly short, but they're quite long statements. Ian Benjamin said, any short-term effects of vaping are totally worth it if you use them to quit smoking. The idea is to use the vape for a relatively short time, so the we don't know the long-term effects excuse is fairly irrelevant. Victor, can I do another one?
Yes, please.
Victor said, I'm glad that e-cigarettes are illegal in Thailand. The argument often made is that e-cigarettes are safer than normal cigarettes when it comes to contaminants. However, recent studies done by Johns Hopkins University found thousands of unknown chemicals and substances undisclosed by manufacturers in aerosols or liquids used with e-cigarettes. You vape, so is that right?
Never vaped a day in my life.
Okay, sorry. Napster says to tax the e-cigs might be better than banning them. Unlike the drunk, the smoker only harms himself. That's not quite right, because we have to sort of smell the fumes and the smoke. Yeah?
Well, yes. Can I just say something about this? Now, clearly I'm not a scientist. That's fairly obvious. But, you know, there was earlier news when vaping had just started, those big electronic vapes that people would smoke and you'd see like a giant cloud of smoke come out. We've come a long way away from that. They don't make e-cigarettes like that. Now, I have friends, you have friends who vape, and we can see that now some of them, you know, that you just charge them. They don't even require any batteries or anything. You know, e-cigarettes have come a long way.
They don't have batteries?
Yeah. Why? No, they don't.
Oh,
I mean,
how do they work? Are they solar powered?
Or? No. They have batteries, but not the traditional way of batteries.
You don't have to sort of connect them to the 12-volt battery in your car.
You just charge them with a USB stick, basically.
You don't have to plug them into the wall.
No, USB-C you can charge them with. But my question or my point is that, you know, apparently smoking normal cigarettes or traditional cigarettes is not frowned upon as much as e-cigarettes. Why the hate or the anger towards e-cigarettes?
No,
do you know what this is about?
I've got an equal amount of anger towards both, really.
Yeah, so I feel like it should at least be equal, because that makes sense. But I feel like people hate on e-cigarettes a lot more.
If you want to smoke, if you want to inhale e-cigarettes, go for it. Just do it away from me. But otherwise, go for it.
Because e-cigarettes actually do have a less nicotine percentage than cigarettes. Most of them anyways. I don't know, depending on what people are using, but at least from my friends that are using it, they have a lot smaller percentage of nicotine in them, and they use it usually to quit smoking. They want to move away from smoking. They want to move away from the bad breath, the bad smell, and so they start using this machine to eventually lead to even not smoke anymore. So
I think a lot of people, though, using e-cigarettes, in their mind they say this is a short-term solution, but you know they're still doing it 3 or 4 years later after they apparently quit smoking.
It's still addictive, but it's still better than what they were doing. So you know,
is it?
You know what, Tim? I'm very intrigued about e-cigarettes, their long-term effects, and comparisons between modern 2021 e-cigarettes and traditional cigarettes. So
why is that?
No, because I want to know. I'm intrigued what the hate and the anger is all about. So what we'll do is, if this does get legalized in Thailand, let's do a piece on e-cigarettes versus cigarettes.
Sure.
And let's do a comparison. Is it better? Is it worse? Is it very harmful? Is it good? You know?
You're very passionate about this issue, Jay. It's good to see you passionate about something. Rusty Graves, he also had something to say about it, saying the reason e-cigs are banned is that influential people have big shares in Thai tobacco. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay. Right. Other things to talk about. Oh, the rain is really precipitating down very heavily at the moment.
Yes.
We'll just speak louder.
We'll speak louder. All right. I have a comment here from Payak Pitar, who says, does Jay feel guilty having had his booster before millions of Thais have had their first?
Do you feel guilty?
No. And I'll tell you why. Look, the government has allowed booster shots to people who've had the Sinovac vaccines in Phuket because the Sinovac vaccine has a low efficacy rate compared to lower compared to other vaccines, as well as specifically to the Delta variant. So being a resident in Phuket, I had the opportunity to get a booster shot
for free
as an expat who lives and works in Phuket, which I took. So I had a choice of either taking it or not taking it. I don't work for the government. I don't get to decide who gets the vaccine. I would love for the people of Thailand, expats, Thai nationals, everyone to get vaccinations if that's what they want in any part of Thailand. But that's something I can't control, so therefore that's not something I feel guilty for.
I got another e-cig one here.
E-cigs. We're back to e-cigs, and you say I'm obsessed.
RJ said, only those who are ill-informed, stubborn enough not to want to learn, or those who profit from cigarette sales, claim that e-cigs should be banned whilst normal cigarettes can continue to be sold across counters everywhere. Like you can go into any 7-Eleven or Family Mart. I'm sure there's other stores as well, and you can purchase cigarettes any time of the day. They are hidden, though, behind a sort of a curtain, a secret curtain.
Right. I've got a comment here from Tom Prizan, who says, Thai tourism fee should be set at 555 Thai baht. So everyone will be in on the joke as well.
That's a very good idea.
Did you see what he did there?
Yes, 555. By the way, 555 in Thai, 5 is ha, so it's ha 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 baht. Yeah. We get it. We get the joke.
We get it.
We've got one here from James, a few numbers here. Iceland, population 364,000, GDP 22 billion, donates vaccines to Thailand, population about 68 million, GDP 502 billion. Something wrong with this picture?
Well, Tim, Thailand does have a lot of vaccinations, but
why is Iceland donating vaccines to Thailand?
Because that's the situation we're in.
We seem to have so many vaccines donated to us, bought, acquired. We should be swimming in vaccines. Where have they all gone?
Well, that's the thing.
There's a question.
There's a question. There we go. Someone get to the bottom of this.
And don't we make AstraZeneca here in Thailand?
We've got
a licensed factory in Bangkok.
We do, but Thailand has a lot of orders of AstraZeneca that they actually need to fulfill before they provide Thailand themselves the vaccines. So that's why the delay kept on happening.
If we went back through the last 6 months and added up all the donated vaccines, the ones that have been apparently or allegedly ordered by the Public Health Department, I would say we've got enough vaccines here for every Thai person for the next 50 years. We just seem to be swimming in vaccines, yet we still don't have everybody vaccinated in Thailand. What the hell's going on?
Get to the bottom of this, Tim. Right. Moving on. We've got a question here from Nigel Williams, who says, was Tim in the movie Natural Born Killers with Juliette Lewis? I don't know. You
researched this, so what?
I didn't. I have no idea who Juliette Lewis is or Natural Born Killers.
She's a fantastic actress.
I'm sure she is. I just don't know her.
But I don't know who the alleged male co-star who...
Have you seen Natural Born Killers?
Was it Brad Pitt who was starring with her? Because then I could understand how people could mistake Brad Pitt with me.
I highly doubt it, but sure, let's just go with that for now. I'll go to my next comment from Ko Yang Shi, who says, has Jay forgotten his right ear stud or has he misplaced it? Now, I just felt like addressing this comment because this has been an ongoing comment chain in the last couple of months. Sometimes people notice my ear stud, sometimes people don't, but it's actually on my left ko yang shi, so it might have been depending on what perspective you're looking at me.
Isn't that like a spacer, or is that actually the thing?
It's a stud. It's a proper earring that goes through my ear.
So at night time you sort of put your drop earrings in, but during the daytime you just put this little keeper in
I like the long ones at night, like the big hula hoops.
Big dangly ones with the chandeliers on them. That's
Otherwise,
nice.
What's the point?
It's nice and conservative.
Yeah, thank you.
We've got one here from Richard Cabiza, who said, I wonder if a certain person is going to be revealed on the Pandora Papers.
Ooh.
Now, earlier this week, we had a lot of the larger media outlets from around the world, Washington Post, BBC, etc., who revealed that the Pandora Papers have now been released. Some 1.2 million documents that reveal the insides of some of the Swiss bank accounts and other bank accounts in some of these countries that don't declare who the owners are. We did look through quite a lot of we didn't go through 1.2 million papers, but we did check if a certain person was mentioned in any of the reports, and that certain person wasn't. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Not yet. Who knows? Who are we talking about? I don't know. Right, I have a question here from Raul Perez, who says, Tim, just FYI, the term for a female animal is to have them spayed. Nurturing refers to a male.
Well, I didn't know that, so I didn't mean to confuse people. Yes, my little Dina, the 6 to 7 month old kitten, we took her to be spayed. She's spayed or new. She's a female, so she's spayed.
Yes.
Took her to be spayed on Tuesday, and they refused to, saying that she had kittens, which we didn't know. A situation we're now currently addressing in our household.
Right.
So thank you for that information. I didn't know there was a difference. Alexander Mayer, are you ready with the beat button on this one? You might have to get the scissors out.
Okay.
Why is the Thai government so concerned about online sex? For decades, on any walking street, tourists can see live shows where women shoot ping pong balls from their ... yada 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 and do things under the table. You can read that, I'm not going to say it. Just deal with what is the real Thailand. Online sex is everywhere and unstoppable. Just look behind us. It's everywhere. Online sex, it's unstoppable.
Alexander Mayer, I don't know what experiences you've had in Thailand, but it seems limited to only one thing. So maybe that's a problem for you.
And look, when we're talking about Thailand does have a reputation for sort of this, this red light district.
Yes.
But if you think about it, there's quite a few streets in Pattaya, probably the city best known for its red light district. Yeah. But in Bangkok, there's probably only 3 or 4 zones which involve a few streets. In Phuket, it's really just one street, Bangla Road. And then in other areas, you've got some smaller red light districts. But it's not as if the whole of Thailand is a red light district. In fact, if you want to go on a family holiday, these streets are very easily avoided.
It has a reputation for a reason, and I think it can be excused for a person who's never visited Thailand to think that that reputation is real. However, if you have visited Thailand, it would be very ignorant of you to not experience all the other beautiful things and all the different activities that are available in Thailand, and to say something like that and think that that's the only thing available is frankly ignorant and wrong.
Okay, so Alexander, you can address your complaints to Jay, who was trolling you mercilessly.
No, not really. It's just the truth.
Thank you, Alexander. We know you have a go at us from time to time, but you do it politely enough, so we're happy to read them out.
Great.
That's it from me.
Wow, okay. I've got a couple more comments here. Malcolm Express says, so you need to apply for your COE before looking at your ASQ to get your visa on arrival, and don't forget your PCR test. Seems simple enough. Don't forget that most businesses are closed and everywhere, including bars, are still subject to the nighttime curfew. Malcolm, you are correct.
Well, yes and no. There are inconveniences if you want to come back to Thailand right now. We have to say that starting November, it is proposed that they're going to get rid of the quarantine. They may get rid of a lot of the testing or reduce the amount of testing or give you more latitude with the testing. I know, for example, that as a resident, if you're flying back to Phuket now, you are not required to have a PCR test, but you're required to have an antigen test, which you can just buy at the chemist for, I don't know, a couple of $100. So a lot of these inconveniences are slowly disappearing. Is Thailand closed? That's not quite right, but a lot is closed, but you're going to see a different Thailand you've seen in the past. But if you ask the people here that we've spoken to during the week, are you having a good time? They all say yes, they're having a fabulous time. Not quite at the moment because it's pouring with rain, but that'll disappear in the next 10 minutes. And they're saying that there's enough open to have a really good time and the beaches look amazing.
Okay, moving on, I have a question here from JJ who says, Jay Seinfeld was on the same time as Friends, and there was an episode where they did Hello. So we were talking yesterday about how I introduce myself or how I introduce the show. I say hello.
I think it was Jerry's uncle that said hello or something like. I sort of watch Seinfeld on and off. I've never sort of watched the whole stream. By the way, it's on Netflix. If you are a Seinfeld fan, you can go on and watch every single episode. My favourite is the puffy shirt.
Right.
Which probably means nothing to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never watched Seinfeld, JJ. However, I now that I'm intrigued, I will check this episode or some clips out. So thank you for that.
Check out the puffy shirt and the low talker.
Okay. And Tapu Rahman on the same topic says, Jay is Big Bang Theory from your time. Probably the best TV show I have experienced in my 59 years of life. I don't know if he's making jokes, but thank you for the comment, Topu.
Have you seen Big Bang Theory?
I have seen some episodes, but
I've seen them all.
Okay, but I was more into other sitcoms like How I Met Your Mother and
the subversive ones.
Yes, Friends. You know, I'm more into that type of comedy.
I love Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And Seinfeld. I like a lot of those. And the sort of things I watch at night time when I just need to clear my brain and just rather than coming up with content and entertaining and informing other people, just nice to sit back, and I usually fall asleep after about 10 minutes, but it's my guilty pleasure at night.
Fair enough. All right, those are all the comments for today. Lastly, before we leave, we'd like to thank our coffee sponsors, Coffee Culture.
Asia.
Visit coffeeculture.asia to buy these beautiful mugs and your roast of ground and coffee beans from across Thailand. Here they are in these beautiful packages where Tim sniffs out of every day.
I love the smell.
And also BYD Luffs, 10% discount if you type in the code the Thaiger at checkout. Also food and beverage, and also a free ride from the airport. So book your stay at BYD Luffs.
And you can stay here if the price is right.
You have never watched that show as well. Anyways, moving on. Thank you, Tim, for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Jason, for being in front of the buttons, and thank you to Golf behind the scenes.
I mean, Golf's been looking at his Facebook for the past half hour.
He's looking sad, isn't he? Well, his job is social media. Anyways,
True.
Anyways, thank you, viewers, for watching the show. We hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Thursday.